Michael Axworth, Iran, Empire of the Mind, A History from Zoroaster to the Present Day. In the book, Iran, Empire of the Mind, A History from Zoroaster to the Present Day, author Michael Axworthy combines an engaging narrative with an analytical overview of Iran's historical journey, tracing its roots to the 7th century Islamic conquests. The book's summary highlights pivotal changes and contributions, from the 1500s Safavid dynasty, Persian advancements in math and science during the Islamic Golden Age, to the troubled modern era marked by political chaos and revolutions. Readers will gain a deep understanding of Iran's evolving culture, politics, and unique identity, emerging enlightened about a country that continues to play a significant role on the world stage.
Iranian culture and history. Iran has been isolated from the world, but recently, the country is slowly integrating. However, Iran's history, its impact on Iranian culture, politics, and perspectives is often misunderstood. With the Islamic conquest in the 7th century, Iran became a Muslim nation, and during the 1500s, it shifted to the Sharia Islam. Despite suffering numerous invasions, Iran maintained its distinct identity in language. Persians made significant contributions to math and science during the Islamic Golden Age, and Iranian poetry is a major contribution to global culture. Iranians' history and culture are unique and need to be explored in depth to be understood accurately. Iran's oil under British Monarchy. Iran's oil rights were signed over to British entrepreneur William Knox D'Arcy by Iran's Qajar monarchy at the turn of the 20th century. When Iran suffered famine and political chaos after World War I, British General Edmund Ironside urged Reza Shah to fill the power vacuum in Tehran. Reza Shah embarked on an ambitious modernization effort by building infrastructure, adopting Western-style dress codes, and de-emphasizing the role of Islam. However, the pace of these reforms proved alienating for many Iranians. Reza Shah lost power in 1941, when British and Russian forces seized Iran, claiming that Reza Shah sympathized with the Germans. The real reason was Iran's oil and strategic location along Russian supply routes. Iranians enjoyed greater journalistic and political freedom under foreign occupation, leading to a new wave of nationalism. Iran's turbulent path. After World War II, Iran's quest for independence led to a British export blockade, culminating in a coup by American and British secret services that ousted leader Mohammad Mossadegh. His replacement, Mohammad Reza Shah, passed the White Revolution in 1963, which modernized the economy via land reform, but caused mass urbanization that led to new problems. After World War II, Iran regained its independence. However, Iran's leader, Mohammad Mossadegh, sought to reclaim the country's oil fields from Britain, which was crucial for its struggling economy. Tensions mounted, and Britain considered going to war with Iran to protect its interests, but the United States advised to pursue an export blockade. Eventually, American and British secret services staged a coup, ousting Mossadegh from power, and replacing him with Mohammad Reza Shah. The new leader's White Revolution aimed to modernize the economy through land reform, granting ownership to 2 million peasants in a national referendum. The move led to mass urbanization as people migrated from the countryside in search of factory work, which brought new challenges that the Shah's government struggled to address. Nonetheless, the West welcomed this era's often authoritarian but more pliable Shah's partnership. The Shah positioned himself as a modernizing force but also legitimized his regime via Islamic orthodoxy, which cast clerics in an important role beyond their religious duties. The transition from Mossadegh to the Shah represents a crucial phase in Iranian history, in which the quest for independence and modernity collided and resulted in different outcomes over time. The Revolution in Iran. Ruhollah Khomeini, a small-town cleric, was a major player in Iran's 1979 revolution against the Shah's regime. The Shah's efforts to modernize and secularize Iran led to unrest among clerics, students, and merchants. Khomeini formulated his vision for an Islamic republic while in exile. The Shah's compromises, the White Revolution, and a deadly cinema fire added to the regime's loss of credibility. In 1979, a referendum passed in favor of forming an Islamic republic, leading to Khomeini's triumphant return to Iran. Iranian hostage crisis. In 1979, students broke into the U.S. Embassy in Iran and captured 66 U.S. diplomats and soldiers. The embassy occupation lasted for months, and a military rescue mission failed in April 1980. The students demanded the return of the Shah, but he died in July 1980. The captives were finally released in January 1981. The incident was an embarrassment to the U.S. and had long-lasting effects on foreign policy with Iran. Iran-Iraq War, a fight over sovereignty. The Iran-Iraq War didn't start overnight. Tensions began when the two nations failed to agree over the Shatt al-Arab waterway. Iraq was aligned with the Soviet Union while Iran, under the Shah, was a U.S. ally. Despite reaching a settlement in 1975, the Iraqi president, Saddam Hussein, instigated the war, feeling the agreement was unfair. The war was financed by their rich oil revenues, and both sides engaged in trench warfare with no clear winner. Chemical weapons from Iraq claimed 50,000 Iranian lives, while Iran declined to respond in kind. By standing up for their rights as a sovereign nation, Iran gained confidence and proved its independence after 2 centuries of foreign domination. Women's status in Iran. Despite progress, gender inequality persists among Iranian women. Women face social limitations such as the requirement to wear veils in public, losing custody of children in divorce, and facing testimony discrimination. However, Iranian women have retained their right to vote, and more women receive higher education than men. Women who receive an education enjoy lucrative careers, but this typically applies only to middle-class women. Poor women experience high unemployment rates and gender discrimination. Despite partial progress, gender equality remains a distant reality for many Iranian women. Iran's troublesome human rights record. Iran's human rights record continues to be a source of concern, with the country executing close to 700 people in the first half of 2015, and by some estimates, having the world's highest execution rate. Additionally, Iran executes children, considers boys adults at age 15, and punishes girls as adults at just 9 years old. While a quarter of Iran's executions are for murder and other violent acts, 3/4 of capital punishment cases are for drug crimes. Iran's prisons are also squalid and dungeon-like, and political critics are often jailed. Harsh punishments like publicly stoning adulterers and chopping off limbs of thieves have decreased, though they still occur. Furthermore, free speech and free press are foreign concepts in Iran. The main cause of Iran's persistently high levels of poverty is the high level of unemployment. Iran's human rights record may not be unusual in the Middle East, but the need for reform remains urgent. The infamous episode in 1989 when Khomeini issued a death sentence for author Salman Rushdie demonstrated Iran's disregard for free expression and brought violence against Rushdie's translators. Iran, a limited threat. Iran has been likened to the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany, but in reality, it poses little threat to the West. Despite evidence suggesting Iran supports violence against Israel, the country has generally refrained from direct engagement in terrorism and its military spending is modest. The nuclear agreement reached with the U.S. in 2015 has further decreased the threat. While there are serious human rights abuses in Iran, the country's re-emergence in the global economy after the lifting of Western sanctions offers potential for economic growth, with Italy and France being its most active trading partners. However, the country still faces challenges such as weak rule of law and diversifying its petrostate economy, with high rates of unemployment and poverty leaving its people susceptible to drug abuse. The shift in social status for some Iranian women may also have long-term effects on society and politics.
By delving into the intricacies of Iranian history, this book summary sheds light on a nation that has endured numerous foreign invasions, retained its language and identity, and contributed extensively to world culture. From the days of Iran's Qajar monarchy and the 20th century emergence of Reza Shah's modernization, the book navigates through Iran's political timeline, leading up to the 1979 revolution and the oppressive Islamic Republic that followed. In this well-crafted introduction to Iranian history, readers are offered a nuanced understanding of the nation's present reality, an essential context to make sense of subsequent events, Iranian politics, and the country's path forward in the 21st century.